Stevens Point, welcome into our last final take of the school year. I'm Curtis Rauen, and sadly for the last time joining me on the desk is Nathan Hansen and Jostun Pomplun. Are you ready for graduation?
I am. Ready to get out of here for a little while. Actually, for a long while.
A long while. I mean, you are going back to school, so you'll be right back into the swing of things.
But
maybe they'll come
You aren't sad a little bit? Oh, come on. You had some fond memories.
I had some good memories, not in school, like the off-campus stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Nate,
yeah,
big things coming?
I'll try not to shed a tear when I'm working commencement watching you guys walk across the stage.
Oh, you won't have to watch me walk. I'll be long gone.
This bum isn't walking.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well,
sorry,
that's another debate.
Not a big ceremony, guys.
That's a debate for another day.
The party starts early.
Well, let's talk about some sports tonight. We have a lot to discuss with Pointers Athletics, along with the NFL Draft, the Stanley Cup Playoffs, the NBA Playoffs, and Brewers crappy baseball. We begin tonight with Pointers baseball. The Pointers split a pair of games last Tuesday against St. Scholastica, winning the first game 3-1 in 10 innings before losing the second game 12-1 in 7. Turner Dornick hit a 2-run home run in the top of the 10th inning to win the first game for the Pointers. Drew Spaeth pitched 3 1/3 innings in relief, pitching to pick up his second win of the season without allowing a hit and a strikeout. Ben Service started the game and pitched 6 2/3 innings, allowing 1 run on 5 hits and striking out 3. 7 different Pointers had hits in the win, including 2 by Cody Hankey. The win snapped the Saints' 52-game home winning streak, and in the second game, the Saints scored 10 runs in the 6th inning to break open a 2-1 game, and they went on to beat the Pointers 12-1 in 7 innings. Parker Sadowski drove in the only run for the Pointers. The Pointers split a 4-game series this weekend with UW-Oshkosh beating the Titans once on Saturday and Sunday while losing a game to the Titans each day as well. On Saturday, the Pointers lost the first game 6-3 while winning the second one 4-2. On Sunday, the Pointers lost the first game to the Titans by a score of 7-6 while drubbing the Titans by a score of 16-2 in the 7 innings in that second game. The Pointers were able to tie the first game at 6 in the top of the 8th, but Oshkosh won the game on a game-winning bases-loaded single in the bottom of the 9th. Cody Hankey, Clinton Rose, and Ben Gerber led the Pointers with 2 hits each. In the second game, the Pointers came alive, scoring 16 runs on 17 hits to beat the Titans in 7 innings. The Pointers scored 8 runs in their third inning off of 2 hits, 2 Titans errors, and 2 Pointers that were hit by pitches. Turner Dornick went 4 for 6 with 6 ribbies, and Parker Sadowski went 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Jocelyn, we'll start with you. How would you say the Pointers season has been going so far with the new coach?
It's been up and down all year. They started off really slow in Florida, lost a couple one-run games, extra inning games. They came back up here. We've had a ton of games get canceled because of weather and made up and all that kind of stuff. They were able to win some non-conference games against lesser opponents, and they got into conference play and just been back and forth. They swept Platteville, who's at the bottom, but then Oshkosh, they split. St. Scholastica, non-conference, they split. They've just been splitting with pretty much everyone. Won a game against Platteville, they scored 1 run in 15 innings. The next they scored 9 by the 4th inning. So just up and down all year, you never know what you're going to get from them.
Yeah, like you said, up and down, extremely inconsistent all year, like you talked about. I think we expected more coming with a new coach that's been in the system, so we didn't think there'd be a lot of changes, but it looks like they're going to need a lot of changes going into next year.
I mean, how do you guys see this one ending for them? Are they going to make a push at all?
Well, right now they're tied for second in the WIAC with Whitewater, but Whitewater's got the tiebreaker over them, taking 3 out of 4, and they have their toughest games of the season coming up when they host La Crosse, who's currently leading the conference. So they're not going to get in the NCAA tournament if they don't win the conference championship. So they got a shot at the 2 seed, possibly the 3 seed heading into that next weekend, but they're going to need to play well against La Crosse to get some momentum.
Yeah, I think they just need to finish out the season with pride. Like you said, they don't really have much of a chance to go on any further in tournaments, so just got to play for themselves now.
And not something we expected, them making the tournament the past 3 years. And my freshman year, they ended up going all the way to the College World Series, so definitely a down year for them.
Well, the Pointers go down to Illinois to take on Benedictine in a doubleheader today and finish up the season at home this weekend with a doubleheader against UW La Crosse on Friday and Saturday. Move on to women's softball now. The Pointers softball team dropped 2 games at home this past Saturday. UW Stout losing 5-2 and 3-1. In the first game, the Pointers rallied late in the 7th inning, courtesy of doubles by Peyton Mix, and then one by Paige Allen, which then advanced Mix to third base. Morgan Johnson hit an RBI groundout that scored Mix before Bailey Shannon lined out to the end of the game. In the second game, the Pointers scored first in the 7th inning, but then Stout hit a game-winning in the top of the 8th to win the game. Maddie Dury took the loss for the Pointers in both games against the Blue Devils. The team finished their regular season Wednesday against Wisconsin Lutheran at McCarthy Memorial Field. As of today, the Pointers record stands at 12-22 and 3-10 in the conference play. Nate, we'll start with you. It's been a tough season for the team. How does their future look moving forward here?
Well, you're always going to have your bumps and bruises, unfortunately, for them. They just had a lot of them this year. So just more experience. I mean, pretty much all these women's sports teams are young and inexperienced. So I think just getting experience playing this year, going into next year, should be better. I mean, it's harder to be worse than what they were this year.
I mean, they only had 2 seniors. Last Saturday was senior day, and I was working the game. Only 2 seniors. So the lineup's mostly made of freshmen and sophomores. There's not that many juniors. So in 2 years, within the next 2 years, I expect this team to take a lot of strides going in the right direction. But getting all the experience they've gotten these past 2 years. I mean, Sheehan, the shortstop, she bats leadoff, one of their better players. It's going to be tough replacing her, but they definitely have a lot of the younger players to step in and take over.
Well, coming up on Final Take, we talk NBA playoffs. Can the Warriors repeat as champions? And who is going to win the Stanley Cup this year in NHL? Stay tuned.
Interested in TV and like to talk about sports? Then Final Take is the thing for you. Final Take films every Tuesday at 4 p.m. in the CAC Room 121. Come and join the fun. At Final Take, anything Pointers, anything sports.
Want to see a news show from behind the scenes? Feel free to stop by the studio to check out SPTV News on Thursdays at 5 p.m. We're always looking for more volunteers both on air and off to join our team. Stop by room 118 and 130 in the Communications Arts Center if you'd like to learn more about it or just to say hello.
Moving on to the NBA playoffs, they're underway with the second round getting started over the weekend. The matchups are Golden State against Portland with the Warriors up 1-0 in the series. Oklahoma City going up against San Antonio Spurs with the series tied 1-1 after a wild ending in Game 2. In the East, it's Miami and Toronto and Atlanta against Cleveland with the Cavs up 1-0. Jostun, let's just talk about that game last night.
Yeah.
I watched the end of that. The Spurs going in there, Thunder. Controversial call there. Skip was all over Twitter that night. Guy clearly threw his elbow into the guy trying to get the pass inbound. What did you think of that play?
Yeah, I didn't watch the game live, but I saw the highlight of that. The ref said he's never seen anything like that before. I've never seen the inbounder throw an elbow like that, but like they said, it should have been an offensive foul. It should have been the Spurs ball. Even sometimes, I mean, I know that Ginobili, and you're supposed to give the guy room. You can't be up on the line. There was something in a NCAA tournament game or whatever, some college basketball game. Guy was right up on the line. You have to give him so much room, and you can't be throwing elbows like that. Even today it said it should have been a technical or whatever, but it should have been a foul on Deion Waiters.
No, it should have been a technical foul on Manu Ginobili. His foot was on the line. That's a technical foul in the fourth quarter with less than 2 minutes.
Like I said, you got to give the guy room. But I looked, I didn't see that. I mean, I probably had to go look at a different angle. But they didn't call it, so it's over and done with. But
I'm glad they called nothing on that play. If after that's what happened, after the guy's foot on line, and then if they called the elbow, you missed the foot on line. So
then it goes the other way. So
exactly.
At least
and you look at it, all Spurs ended up getting the ball anyways, and they missed the shot. So they had the opportunity, and they're still fretting about it. Well, what second-round matchups, Jostun, are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm going to go back to surprise. So Portland, no one even expected them to make the playoffs. They lose Aldridge, they lose Wes Matthews' injury and then free agency. Batum they trade away. Who do they have left? And sure enough, they get in the second round. But obviously the Clippers with injuries to Blake and CP3. But still, to even get to the playoffs and then advance into the second round, Portland just surprising to me. And then second round matchup to watch would definitely be Oklahoma City, San Antonio. You saw what happened last night after the Spurs beat them by 30 plus, just ran them off the court in game one. So that'll be interesting to watch going forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Like you talked about, that series is going to be great. I mean, Durant and Westbrook are pretty much carrying that team right now. And I feel like there's other guys on that team that aren't stepping up that have the capabilities of doing that, like Serge Ibaka. He was huge a couple years ago for their playoff push. Steven Adams down low, he's been great. I mean, they need to get more out of guys like they traded for, like Randy Foye and even Deion Waiters, who had that controversial play at the end of the game. But I think the most interesting team, like you talk about, is the Portland. I think that series is going to be great just because of Steph Curry being out. So I think that creates a better matchup for Portland for sure. And, I mean, Portland's fun to watch. I mean, they got Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, probably one of the top 5 backcourts in the league right now. They're doing great. Terry Stotts should have been Coach of the Year. So I think that'll be a great series to watch for sure. But one I'm really excited about is the Toronto series. I mean, they struggled in that first series. So we'll see if they can turn around in this series. A lot of doubters on them, so we'll see if they can get the job done.
One thing about Portland, they did beat Golden State by 30 once during the regular season. So
it's one game, Josh, and the Bucks beat them once. Come on. I mean, let's just cut to the chase here. Enough about the NBA. Who's going to be in the finals here?
Conference finals?
No, the finals. We're cutting to the chase.
Well, if Curry's healthy, Golden State. But otherwise, it could very easily be San Antonio, Oklahoma City. If Curry's not healthy, I think San Antonio goes there. But if Curry's healthy, it's San Antonio. And in the East, it's going to be Cleveland. They might lose a game here to Atlanta. Toronto, Miami could give them fits. But I think Cleveland's going to the finals against Golden State if Curry's healthy, San Antonio if Curry's not healthy.
Yeah, I hate to agree with you, but I think you're right. I think we'll see a rematch of last year. And hopefully everybody in both teams are healthy, unlike last year when the Cavaliers were down Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. That series was pretty much uneven and not really fair. So the Warriors took down easily. And I think this year, if the Cavs are healthy and Steph Curry is probably not 100%, I think the Cavs will take that series.
All right, let's have a decider. What do you got winning that game if it's Cavs and Warriors?
The Warriors repeat.
Cavs in 7.
Cavs in 7, good. Well, I think without a doubt, if Curry's on the court, they're going to be winning that series. Well, let's move on to the ice now. The Stanley Cup playoffs. Second round just got started this past weekend with the San Jose against Nashville. The Sharks up 2-0. St. Louis is against Dallas with series tied at 1, and the New York Islanders against the Tampa Bay Lightning with the series tied at 1 as well. And then you move on to the Washington and Pittsburgh Penguins matchup. Their Penguins are up 2-1 in that one. What second round matchup are you looking forward to, Jostun, in this one, and who advances to the conference finals?
Definitely the Pittsburgh Penguins-Washington Capitals series. I mean, Washington, the best team in the league coming in. Pittsburgh playing really well as of late. Pittsburgh stole a game in Washington. Brooks Orpik from former Penguin, now the Capitals, got suspended 3 games for a hit in Game 2. And now I saw a Penguins player got suspended for a hit in Game 3. But whoever wins that series is going to go all the way, I think, with just the talent on those teams. So, yeah. But definitely Washington, Pittsburgh, hell of a series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat again with you. That series is going to be great. You got probably, arguably, the two best players in hockey going up against each other, and Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. And I think Pittsburgh will take that one. Washington will probably lose another playoff series, put him another tarnish in Ovechkin's career. So that'll be interesting. But I think the Dallas series will be really good. No one's really talked about the Dallas team. They've been very good this year. I think they're the number 1 seed in that conference. So that'll be a great series to watch, and I think that might even be almost better than Washington and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, against the Blues, that'll be a physical series.
Well, gentlemen, who wins the cup?
I think it's gonna be the winner of Washington, Pittsburgh. I think because those two. But St. Louis or Dallas could sneak in there. I don't think Nashville or San Jose is gonna win it all. They might be in one of them could be in the finals, but I don't think they're gonna beat Pittsburgh or Washington.
I'll take the Sharks. I think that the Sharks will win that series. I think whoever survives that Washington-Pittsburgh match will be a little too banged up, a little too fatigued to go into the finals. Sharks are rolling right now. Hometown boy Joe Pavelski's getting it done. I think the way they're playing right now, they got a hot goaltender, and that's what it takes in the playoffs is a hot goaltender. I think they'll get the job done.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk Brewers. Jimmy Nelson getting a win last night on the mound with some run support. But first, we talk about the NFL Draft. We'll be recapping that from our last week's special. Stay tuned.
Don't have a television? Don't worry. SPTV is available on demand at uwsp.edu/SPTV. Find your favorite shows on our website, plus links to all of our YouTube content. Stay up to date with SPTV news that includes information about campus and community happenings. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. We're SPTV-UWSP Television. SPTV. Let's make media together.
How can you get involved with student media at UWSP? Connecting with your campus television station, SPTV, is easy. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Vine, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Pinterest, follow us on Instagram, or connect with us on Google+. But of course, the best way for you to get involved and stay up to date with all that is happening at our station is to stop by our studio. We're located in the Communication Arts Center at UWSP, Studio B, Room 121. You can also drop by our office, Room 130, for more information on station happenings. We can't wait to get you involved. Come join us at SPTV. Let's make media together.
Reporting for SPTV, I'm Rachel Ellis.
I'm Noble Rudd.
Ben Zatoni.
Melissa Mitrovic.
Nathan Hansen.
Sarah Burkhardt.
JJ Luther.
Nicole Pfeiffer.
I'm Chris Watkins.
Welcome back. Last Thursday was the NFL Draft held in Chicago. It was Christmas for all of our teams, 31 teams in that first round with the Patriots losing a pick there. We all know that. But let's talk about the first two quarterbacks off the board. Jared Goff going to the Rams, Carson Wentz to the Eagles. Jostun, we'll start with you. Who's going to be the successor? Who's going to be better out of the draft? Or actually in his career? Who do you got, Wentz or Goff?
I think Goff will do better. They got more of a team around him. They got a better defense. He's got the strength. He's got the ability to just hand it off to Todd Gurley, which is something like I'm familiar with Teddy Bridgewater doing to Adrian Peterson. So we'll see if they let him fling the ball around. He's still looking for some receiver help, but Carson Wentz, he already got booed in Philadelphia by the fans. So tough adjustment going there with the fans and just the new coaches there compared to St. Louis or Los Angeles, where they've had the system in place for a couple years now.
Yeah, I think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback, but I think Goff will have more success because he's a product of the environment. He's playing down in LA with a top-tier running back, a great defense. His situation's set up for better. I mean, who the heck knows what's going on in Philadelphia? Nobody knows what's going on. They're paying three quarterbacks almost like $20 million. Yeah. So who knows what they're going on? Their starting quarterback, Sam Bradford, he wants to be traded now, so Carson Wentz probably won't play this year. Otherwise, they could basically screw up his career and throw him in right away.
But yeah, Wentz does have the more potential for more upside, just running ability, all that stuff. Yeah. So.
And it's funny because the Eagles were a mess after the Chip Kelly thing, and then they bring in Doug Peterson, and they're a mess with the Sam Bradford thing. So they just go from one to the next. That team, I don't know. And then can Wentz handle that big pressure of Philadelphia fans? That guy's coming from North Dakota, a smaller school, and now he's got to deal with fans. He comes off the plane, he's getting booed already. So I think it's going to be a tough ride for him, and we'll see if it pans out. Let's talk about some of the other quarterbacks, some surprises. Dallas trying to make that final push for Paxton Lynch, didn't get it. Paxton Lynch fits the mold of the good old guy to step up after Brock Osweiler, kind of the same, I don't know what you want to call it, but he's about the same height, same kind of quarterback there for them. And then you had some surprises, the New England taking a quarterback real late. You also had the Bills taking Connor Cook.
The Bills took Cardale Jones. Hackenberg going all the way up in the second round to the Jets. Yeah, the Raiders taking Cook, but he'll be like a Kirk Cousins type thing, that if Carr somehow falls off the face of the earth, then they got Cook, or if Cook does good, then they can use him as a trade chip.
Well, let's talk about this. It's been the talk the entire first round. It's still looming a little bit. Laramie Tunsil. It's the day of the draft. The picture comes out of him having the gas mask on and smoking the wacky tobacco. But what'd you guys think of that? You're his PR guy. It's ugly for him right now.
That's the worst timing ever.
You got to look at it though. The Dolphins took value. Was that a smart pick for them? Is it going to pay off?
Value-wise, it was. Just they got to work with his off-field issues. He was suspended for taking benefits from in college, and then even after he got picked, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. But you got to watch his off-field issues. But he's definitely worth the talent for 13.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just got to be smarter off the field. I think there's a lot of players that need to be smarter, but he's just the latest one. But yeah, that's a great value for Miami at 13. That mistake that he made cost him $8 million, but I don't think Miami's too upset about that. They probably get the best offensive lineman in the draft halfway through. So,
Nate, we'll start with you. Any big surprises in the draft? Not even first round?
Well, I think Miles Jack falling out of the first round was huge. We had questions coming about his health, and then after he slid out of the first round, people kind of were talking. They're like, oh, his knee's fine, doesn't need surgery. Well, then, of course, the Jaguars trade up, get a steal in that second round. That could be great. But I think probably the dumbest picks, it could work for them. I don't think it will, though, is the Cowboys drafting Jalen Smith so early in that second round. That's high risk, but it could be a huge reward. He could be the best player of this draft if he's healthy, but the chance that he's healthy is not looking good for him. There's a 20% chance he can never play again. So those are odds I don't know if we'd be willing to take in the second round.
I thought he could have went second, third round, but I didn't think he was going to go that high in the second round. But then San Francisco trading back up into the first round to get the guard from Stanford, who they probably could have gotten in the second round, but you get that extra fifth-year option. So I know that's one thing the Vikings have done, to trade back up just to get that extra fifth-year option on guys. So we'll see about that.
Well, let's talk. Speaking of the Vikings, what do you think of their picks? Is it a successful draft for them?
Yeah, and then I've read they knew the roster is going to be competitive to make, so they traded out of the third round to get picks for next year when guys are going to be free agents. But they got the most important position player in need at wide receiver with Laquan Treadwell. They got Mackenzie Alexander in the second round with Terrence Newman getting up there in age and Captain Munnerlyn in the final year of his contract. They added the leading tackler at linebacker, so they just added pieces where they needed them, and then we'll see if Moritz Moringer ever pans out. He's got the size and the physical tools. They just gotta see if he can learn the NFL. That's
and
the
there was a
thing.
line of NFL teams trying that guy out. A lot of teams liked him, and the Vikings took a chance on him. Nate, what about the Packers?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think Cordell Patterson also had the skill set to be a good receiver. So hopefully that plays out that way, since I'm a Packers fan. But no, I think the Packers had a good draft. They filled their needs. The Packers draft the guys that they want. They almost never draft the guys that us fans want. So it is what it is, drafting Kenny Clark in that first round when there is a lot of good guys available yet. But they like him. He should fit in the system. I'm glad they at least addressed the positions they needed to. Got an inside linebacker and Blake Martinez, outside linebacker. Traded up for Jason Spriggs. I don't know why they really traded up for that pick. I think he probably wouldn't have been available, but I don't really think that's a huge area of need. I mean, David Bakhtiari in his last year's contract, so he could be out the door. But I think the Packers added the positions they needed to when they needed to, and they didn't overpay or overreach for anyone.
And going off of that real quickly, I'll be the first to say it on air. I think they made the biggest mistake passing on Myles Jack or Reggie Ragland. For years, the Packers needed that inside linebacker. That's been the missing piece of their defense, and they went out and got a D tackle. I get it, they need it for Raji, but I think inside linebacker has been holding them back from making this push to the Super Bowl, and I think you'll see it this year again, where they're just going to falter right at the end. Panthers, I don't know what they did in the draft, going 3 corners. They want to replace Josh Norman. Hopefully the guys pan out. I'll tell you what, though, they got the best undrafted free agent in Kyrus Garrett, the wide receiver. That guy's going to be a stud in the NFL. He's going to make the roster. Watch out for him.
Also, one other thing about surprising picks: the Buccaneers trading up for a kicker in the second round.
I read an article on them saying that they lost a few games last year because of field goals.
That does not matter.
And this guy hasn't missed inside the 50-yard line. Who knows what? We got to keep this
But I
rolling.
think he could have been there in the later in the round.
Let's talk about the guy who played football at Pointier. It's been big news. He's tried out for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, what do you think of all this? I mean, all of us have covered somewhat of the Pointers football team or called games. I mean, this is exciting news.
Yeah, you covered him. I know I've heard they said they wanted him to play fullback, but I think he's still going in there as outside linebacker / defensive end, but I think outside linebacker. But whether he gets an offer to sign the free agent contract, that's yet to be determined. But second straight year, a Pointer player got invited to a rookie camp.
Yeah, he'll be a linebacker in a 3-4 system. They've had talks of that. But, I mean, hey, he's getting the chance, which is great. A lot of guys don't get that chance, and I think he's determined and ready to prove himself and take a hold of that chance.
I think he should listen to the advice. I think he should go in as a fullback. That might hurt him a little bit trying to go linebacker there. We'll see. But good luck to him. And
I know he tested well at all his combines and stuff he went to. Just the one flaw that he had was these stats came in Division III competition, but other than that, he's tested really well.
Well, let's move on to baseball here in the MLB. The Milwaukee Brewers have struggled to record a .915 record in the NL Central. Jostun, we kind of all saw this coming. What do you think of the Brewers right now? And there's some guys in there that have been stepping up to the plate, but I mean, this team is going to struggle here for the next couple of years, it looks like.
Yeah, we knew they weren't going to be good this year, but they're actually off to a better start than they were last year. But the pitching's just awful. Willie Peralta, he's having a down year. Chase Anderson was decent at the beginning of the year, but he's gotten worse. Taylor Youngman, who knows what happened to him? He's experimenting. He's back in the minors. Jimmy Nelson, the only real bright spot of the pitching rotation, and Jeremy Jeffries has been strong coming out of the bullpen. But they've got the ability to score runs with that offense. They've proven that in the past couple of weeks. Just pitching is awful.
Yeah, they can't get anything done pitching. I mean, I was at the game Saturday. First pitch, Chase Anderson threw. Marlins hit a home run. So it's been that kind of year for them. They haven't been great. 9-15, not bad, though, for what a lot of people were expecting. A lot of people barely thought they'd get to 70 wins on the season, which is a crazy thought. But I think they'll be all right. You know, you got to go through struggles. You got to take them when they come now, and hopefully it works out in the end.
Just waiting for Arcia to come up and a couple of those other guys.
Yeah.
Few more years, gentlemen. A few more years. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We thank everyone for tuning in with us. Thank Jostun Pomplun and Nathan Hansen for joining us. Jostun, our final show here is crazy. Ever. We came in as freshmen, and I don't remember sophomore for you, but it's been fun here and all the crazy debates we've had on here. Not really, but we'll just say that.
We had a few good years with Apple.
Yeah, we had some Apple. We had some bobbing for apples right on air. That was a nice. I won that, by the way, folks.
I don't know. That was pretty close.
That was fun.
We had wacky sports. We had.
Nate doesn't know what we're talking about.
We had a couple good years.
Young blood.
Well, be sure to check us out on our Facebook page at UWSP, or excuse me, at SPTV Television, or follow us on Twitter at SPTV_UWSP. Also visit the UWSP homepage to locate all your Pointers athletic information. We'll see you all back in fall, and just remember Stevens Point here at Final Take. Anything Pointers, anything sports.